Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Diravanachari Yamuna Diravanachari Yamuna Diravanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Radha Gopinatha Radha Radhe Radha Gopinatha Radha Radhe Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev Hariam Sankirtan ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Narancheva Nurottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tadushe Udrayate Nashtaprayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavadineshiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Che Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopisa Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanjana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Paditana Pavane Pyo Vaishnave Pyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadha Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Welcome all the devotees for today's satsang. I'm extremely thankful for each one of you for sparing your valuable time. So we have completed last time 6th chapter. We'll take from 7th chapter and we'll continue further. 2nd chapter, we'll recite the first sloka of 2nd chapter, 7th chapter. 7th chapter is called Knowledge of Absolute. So we'll first recite this first sloka, then we'll go further. See Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Mat Asreyaha Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yada Yajnasi Tasruno. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You can put on the screen, Paramadel Bro. The devotees can chant.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can chant.
You can be able to see on the screen, Mataji.
I am from a book, I am reading it. Bhagavad Gita.
7th chapter, first sloka.
Specifically only. Shall I? Shall I start, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathajnasasi Tat Shruno. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. The devotees, please then.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Ma Yatajnasasi Trashunu.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Ashakta Manaha Partha Yoham Yunjan Mad Ashrayaha Ashamshayam Samagram Mam Yata Jnanashyasi Tachrunu.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Manah Partha Yogam Yunjan Madasrayaha Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yatagnyasasi Tachrunu.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yum Janmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathajnasya Tashrunu.
Krishna, anybody is there, or we'll start with the text one?
Agni Prabhu.
Agni Prabhu is there?
Yes, shall I recite?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madasraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Nyasasi Tachrunu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll go by word meaning. See Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord. Mayi, to me. Asakta Manaha, mind attached. Partha was a son of Pratha. Yogam, self-realization. Unjan, practicing. Mat Asraya, in conscious of me, Krishna consciousness. Asam Swayam, without doubt. Samagraham, completely. Mam, me. Yada, how. Janasasi, you can know. That, Sruno, try to hear. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Supreme Personal Godhead said, now here, O son of Pratha, How by practicing yoga in full conscious of me, with the mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. This is a wonderful purport Prabhu has given. We'll go through slowly now. This purport, if we do this one text, is more than enough for today. We'll go slowly and understand what Prabhupada want to convey by this the purport. Purport. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of the Krishna consciousness is fully described. This is very, very, very important for us. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulence is described herein. Also, for 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna consciousness are described in this chapter. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the living entities has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to the self-realization by different types of yoga. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the study concentration of mind upon Krishna, in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of absolute truth because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubt. Different types of yoga are only stepping stone on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahmajyoti, Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna conscious yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, living entity, material nature, their manifestation with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in the 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the most important. Lord therefore says to Arjuna, thus to know, hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna. Therefore, by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from pure devotee of Krishna, not from non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead, absolute truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Shranavadam swa kadas Krishna punya shravanam kirtanam hridayantisva bhadrani vidunodi srudissadam nasta prayesu abhadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavadi uttama shloge bhakti bhaudinashiki tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobhasya chaye sheta eter anavidyam Siddham Satvade Prasittade Evam Prasanna Manasa Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasa Jayate Vidyade Hriday Grannante Chintanti Sarva Samsaya Shriyanti Chasya Karmani Drishta Eta Atmaneshwara. Hear about Krishna from Vedic literature or to hear from him directly through Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, act as a best wishing friend, purify the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, the devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from Bhagavatam, from devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from mode of patient ignorance, and thus the material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, become enlivened by the devotional service, understand science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection, enable one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagraham, understanding the supreme absolute truth, personality Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from a devotee in Krishna consciousness can understand the essence of Krishna. So this particular text gives knowledge about absolute truth. So before that, we just the Prabhupada was telling, he is pervading everywhere. In this way, the devotees naturally develop his dormant tension knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from Bhagavatam, from devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional service of the Lord. Why we are having regular satsang? Only to hear about the glories of Krishna, nothing else. It is nothing of the same. Whether the speaker knows or doesn't know. If one person speaks, another person hear, he get verified. Why? What is the advantage of that? One thing I came to know from after coming to Krishna consciousness for many years. Everybody wants to speak what Prabhupada spoke. Here there is no deviation. This is a perfect state. For even if his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada speak, he speaks the same thing from his own Bhagavad Gita. His disciples also speak. If grand disciples who are now just joined, they also speak the same thing. That is no deviation at all. That you have to understand how purify, how that Prabhupada kept the entire process purified. When he was living in the planet also, he gave the perfect knowledge. After left the planet also, he created a situation in which everybody reads his own Bhagavad Gita purport and discuss about that only. What we discuss is just it is only a medium. Some person is speaking, somebody is hearing. It doesn't make difference. But message is what we have heard from Krishna to Arjuna, coming from Guru Parambara, and we are hearing from some devotees. I may be a neophyte devotees, doesn't matter. But if I speak what Prabhupada wrote, which he got direct knowledge from Krishna, that is the perfect translation of purity. We are not altering anything. We are not putting our own intelligence in that. The spiritual knowledge is coming directly from the Krishna, that you understand. One of the tattva we have, many knowledge, we get some knowledge by this. What is the knowledge we get is, Mahavishnu creates the total material energy. That some tattva also we understand, some philosophy we understand. The Mahavishnu creates a total material energy known as Mahatattva. Garbhodakshini Vishnu enters into all universe to create diversity in each of them. See, one is Mahavishnu creates, because of him only everything is created. Garbhodakshini Vishnu enters into each universe. That is also a compartment. Vishnu is the entire thing is coming from entire material creation. Is coming from Vishnu, Mahavishnu. After Garbhodakshini Vishnu enters into each universes. And Shirodakshini Vishnu enters into all pervading super soul. He is diffused as all pervading super soul in all universes, known as Paramatma. He is present even in the atom. You see this. Once this philosophy is understood properly, how the three tattvas, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshini, and Shirodakshini Vishnu, we understand how there is a coordination between different Vishnus. And actually, there is no disorder there. One Vishnu is creating the entire material energy creation. Another Vishnu is creating the universes. And another Vishnu is going into these, each of the tiny particle of atom as a Paramatma. He is only the guiding force. For even if you see a plant, if you see a tree, if you see anything, the action of Paramatma, without that, it will not grow. I will not be able to speak, there is no Paramatma. You have to understand how Paramatma is the force behind everything. Once we understand there is unity, because we are all controlled by one of the factor of the Vishnu Tattva. He is only giving the energy for us to do any activity. Even while sleeping, we are thinking of something in the mind, we are getting a dream. All these things are not happening because of us. Because there is the Paramatma sitting in the heart. Because of that, we are able to function. We are able to do our normal activity also because the Paramatma is there. Now, this particular chapter of 7th chapter, Prabhupada has very nicely explained that when we concluded this 6th chapter, that is the conclusion of the 6th chapter is Yoginam abhi sarvesham mat gadendra andaratmanaha. Shadavan bhajate yoma same yukta tama madaha. So what the sixth chapter says is, of all the yogi, the glories of knowledge about Krishna, connection with Krishna, etc. Yogi, of all the yogi, become a Krishna Bhakta. Of Yoginam Abhi Sarvesam Madhyadan, that you who think about Krishna always, he is pure. But here in the seventh chapter, it gives the knowledge how to get to the particular state. Here the Supreme Lord, here first the section of the breakup of the seventh chapter is given. I just discussed about the breakup of the seventh chapter. First 1, 2, 3, the text glories of knowledge about Krishna. That first then 4 to 7, Krishna is a source of everything. And then 8 to 12, Krishna pervades everything. These are the section. Then the second section is how to surrender to Krishna. Second chapter and second section. Like that, section wise it goes. And finally, what is the final destination of three types of people who believes in God and who don't believe in God? That is going on. One important aspect is, and when we understand by hearing, what Prabhupada is important point he has mentioned is, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality said, now here, O son of Prata, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. This is very, very important, this particular sloka. See, here we'll break up this particular sloka into different words. Oh Arjuna, please hear. That means to know. But Krishna, what is given instruction is finally this particular text talks about hearing. Then what he is talking about? How by taking shelter of me. Mat asraya. Mat asraya, what is the meaning here? Prabhupada has given. Mat asraya. Mat asraya. Yeah, that means in Krishna consciousness, mat asraya. Manaha, mat asraya. Practicing bhakti yoga. Yogina, yogam unjan. Yoga ninjan means bhakti yoga. Yoga ninjan. So the next is with attached mind to me. That means maya asakta manaha. What Prabhupada says in the Bhagavad Gita sloka is, mind is very, very important force for all of us. So you can say senses, after the senses is mind, after the mind is intelligent. But here, Prabhupada, Krishna give importance of mind. Whatever we do in our life, intelligence is one thing. Sometimes you discriminate, don't discriminate, determination, all these are getting intelligent. But mind, first our impression, what is getting the mind? Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever you do, that is the experience is accumulated in the mind. The mind is the store of all our intelligence. So everything is coming from stored in the mind. It gives an impression, what we have seen, experience, what you're going to pursue. Everything it gives mind. So that's why seeing, hearing, concentrating the mind is very important here. Yeah. You can know me in full. Janasasi samagram. Samagram, you can understand Krishna. What is important here is you understand Krishna in full. Then another word is used from asamsayam, free from all doubts. Why we are having this kind of association, why we are reading this, why we are doing these prayers, why we are doing bhajan, all these things, we want to remove all the doubts from us. Krishna is only solace for us. We don't have any other thing. If you understand, the Krishna is only, we can't go to anybody else. The example what is given is Gajendra tried his many level best to save from the crocodile. Draupadi also tried. These are the stories we give to show an example. Those people lived by what Krishna speaks here. It is not that we are, why the many stories are coming in Srimad Bhagavatam and Prabhupada gives many stories. Why is very important for us is to emphasize the importance of hearing and also free from all doubts. When we practice bhakti, whatever small doubt is there, we have to inquire submissively and get our doubts clarified. But once the doubts are removed, we have to put a faith in Krishna. Whatever Krishna says is 100% perfect. We can't have any doubt. As a devotee, practicing devotee, what is the example? What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Tarpanam, this one, Cheto Tarpanam. Cheto, whatever our mind, impurity, the mind is cleaned. Once the mind is clean, and it will become pure. As we chant about the holy name, discuss about this Bhagavad Gita, association of devotees, going to Dham, why we are doing all these things? Purify the mind. That's one aspect. Now, another aspect is very important aspect. What Prabhu stresses here is, now about the knowledge we understood. See, the knowledge includes matter, spirit, source of controller of both. Actually, it is not important to know. Actually, it is not possible to know about know Krishna in full. This is very, very important for all of us. If you think by accumulating knowledge or doing some austerity, we are able to obtain this one, what is called about knowledge about Krishna is impossible. Know about Krishna. Why it is not possible? Anybody can say why it is not possible. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says one of the sloka, it is not possible for even the great sages and demigods to know him. Anybody knows which particular chapter it comes?
Manushyanam Sahasresu.
Manushyanam Sahasresu talks about what? That is only this one, no? That is, this comes in this particular sloka only, no? Seventh.
Now, what is the question, Prabhu?
What is, see, even demigods and sages cannot know about Krishna. Here, Prabhupada says in the purport, even the great people cannot know. Actually, it is not possible to know Krishna in full.
Bahunam Janma Namante Jnana.
Bahunam Janma
They're all parts and parcel of Krishna. So parts and parcel would not know Krishna fully.
Yeah. So, but in the 10th chapter, 10.2, it gives very clearly the graphic proof. Directly Krishna says, Name vidu suragana prabhavam na maharishaya aham adir hi devana maharishinam cha sarvasaha. Translation is, neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulence, for in every respect I am the source of demigods and sages.
Yeah, he is the source of demigods and sages, so they are parts and parcel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are all part cannot know the full unless it reveals itself. So here, what we are praying by doing chanting, by doing prayers, doing tapasya is to get this mercy of Krishna. We are invoking the mercy of Krishna, the costless mercy. Costless mercy, we don't deserve it. You have to understand what Sachinanda Maharaj also, our very precarious position is, we are in a very hopeless condition. Materially, spiritually, we be having some, what is called now, Krishna consciousness, elevated. That's one aspect is spirit. But most of the time, since we are living in the material world, from morning, from the time we get up till we go to sleep, we mostly concentrate on material aspect only. Only few time, maybe 2 hours when we're chanting, when we are in satsang, sometimes our mind totally focused there, we are able to know something about Krishna, we dive deep into that. But otherwise, our conscious is material, that we have to admit. Because of that, our consciousness get polluted. Here, Prabhupada gives a very punchline here. More we hear from devotees, more, see, Prabhupada is also very, his philosophical understanding, his explanation to this public is very appealing because he talks something practical. Prabhupada talks something practical, which lived in his own life. What he's telling, as you hear more about Krishna from Bhagavatam, from the devotees, he becomes fixed in devotional services. This is the only method. There is no other method. If you do austerity and I give some the dharma, dhanam, some charity you give, or you want to renounce, these are something which you can do. Maybe you can do 1 or 2 days. You can't do in a long time, but only by the devotional service. But hearing from Krishna is authorized representative, who is living by his example. What a Prabhupada example, giving very example, why he is talking about devotees. Devotee is not a superficial person who only preach to others. He lived by his own example what Krishna taught us, or what is the instructions of Krishna, or what is coming from the Guru Parampara. He faithfully follows without any deviation to the extent possible for him. Because everybody has got limitation. We can't claim that we are perfectly there. We can't demand Krishna to accept me, show him mercy. We can't do that. To the extent possible, we'll do that. That's more than enough. One of the important here is talked about is your intention. I'm going to share with you two stories to show how the important is our intention. We are practicing bhakti not for our purification. We are our purification, not for getting liberation, not getting fame, material benefit, or free from disease, or want to maintain a good relation in this material. This is not our aim at all. Our aim is only to please Krishna. That is one, our intention is very clear. Then our focus will be also very focused. If you are, the Bhagavad Gita also in second chapter of sloka, what is the sloka about? If you have a resolute this one of mind, then you will be able to one point attention, Vivasatmika Buddhi.
2.41.
What is that? 2.41. Vivasatmika, you have fixed goal. Then you don't be attracted by this material world, the ups and downs, happiness, distress, and duality. The material world will not affect you. Otherwise, you give more important duality. You are having material consciousness. The Prabhu also had big there's no business failure. But he listened to this particular Vivasatmika, that only said, whenever a person is resolute, having the focus goal, many problems will come. That you should not focus. These are all, anyhow, the problem will come there as long as you have got a body. The body is going to give some trouble. You have the basic thing you have to understand. You cannot live in this material world comfortably. You can live comfortably by your imagination or your illusion. This is not a place for staying comfortable in the material world, because Dukale Masavasadam, Krishna is certified this material world. So moving forward, how to get right intention? I'm going to share with you two stories, very, very beautiful story. One of the story is talking about one of the sadhu was doing a very austere life in the forest, but his position was he was closing the eyes, he was extending his hand, opened the palm like that, and whatever receive anybody give him as a prasadam, he'll accept and eat it directly. He will not do anything. Just keep his one hand extended. Somebody will put fruits, somebody will give cooked prasadam. Like that, he was living on this. He was not going outside only. He was in the samadhi state. One day, one king went for hunting in the forest. While going for hunting, he became totally tired, like Parishit Maharaj. He came to this hermitage where the sadhu was living. He was looking for some water, some kind of fruits. The sage will offer him, like that. He was thinking and came. When entered, he was just closing eye. He was opening the palm like that. So he came to know people. Whatever he puts in the palm, he eats it. In the hand, he will eat it. So he extended that palm. He was riding in a horse. Immediately the king got annoyed with this sage. He took the dung of the horse and put it in the hand. The sadhu meditated on that as a prasadam offered by the Lord for him for consumption. He took it directly, put it in the mouth. He did not spit it out. He just, whatever he comes by naturally, he was eating. He was totally in a samadhi state. So this one part of the story. Then king went back to his kingdom. He was living happily there. One day, one sadhu comes to his kingdom and tell the king, what you have done? That particular sage who yesterday put a horse dung was a pure devotee on the earth. Since you have done that particular, there's no act of violence, you're going to suffer eternally in the next life, and you're going to go to hell. There you will be given a mountain of this horse dung. You have to eat every day. That's going to be the food. The king really got very, very bewildered. He doesn't know what to do. Then he asked the sage what he should do. You immediately leave your kingdom, renounce everything, go to the forest and meditate. But the king had one novel idea. So anyhow, I'm a king. I got a lot of treasure. I will take treasure also along with me. I will live in the forest. And he's got one policy. I don't know how he got the policy. Whoever is an unmarried girl, he will call them and give them a lot of gold coin to them and give them nice advice also. You have to serve your husband nicely. You take care of him. Once you take care of him, you will get liberation. That's how you will get chastity. All these nice words he was preaching to people. Many people are unmarried girls were coming to him. It went on, went on. He became very popular and he been accepted. Like that, he was living very happily. As this, that material, the tendency of the material world is, even if you do good thing, people, what is all, will find fault in you. And even if you do bad thing also, people, this is nature of the material world. So actually the village people started making gossip that the king is unnecessarily calling only unmarried this one, and he is spoiling them. Like that, they spread message. Whenever somebody talks ill thing about this particular king, now the king has become a sage now. He become elevated, become a saintly, he renounced everything, he was practicing bhakti and all. So because of that, the people are talking many things. One slowly is the hellish in the hill is the horse dung was accumulated in the mountain, was coming down like that, because these people are taking his all this Baba. Since we're distributor, those people talk a bad thing about him. One day, one blind man, one blind husband, along with his wife is having an eye. They were going to the king to meet, because everybody is talking very high about this particular previous king. She going to them to take darshan and take some money from him. That's what they're going. While going, this wife was praising the king like anything. He was the previously king. He renounced everything. He's giving all this in charity to all these people who are going to be wedded. Like that, he was telling. So this particular husband was telling, yes, actually, and I heard from many people, he is spoiling these girls and all, and that's why we should not believe him. That fellow is a bad fellow. Immediately, the wife started to this, shut his mouth. Was closing his mouth so that he should not speak anything about the king. Because the chaste lady, because of chastity, she came to know what will be the condition of the husband after death. When everybody from the particular kingdom took his sin away from the reducing, there was only one morsel of last horse dung was left. So actually, this particular husband was supposed to possess that particular curse, because with that everything will be extinguished. Since the wife has stopped him from that, he did not get it. Some other person told something about the king, it perished. Here, what is important for us is intention. Actually, here, the sadhu, earlier sadhu was extending his hand. He was begging people actually. The intention of the king was not to give charity. He wants to insult him. He was doing as if the material sense, it looks like he gave charity. He gave charity should be with intention. Because if he has given charity as something eatable for the sake to consume, it would have been better. Because he has to go through the big hurdles. Throughout his life, he is renounced the kingdom because he did one act without any intention, with a bad intention. He did the charity in bad intention. Similarly, those people also were talking about bad thing about the previous king. So that is why the material world, we do not have a vision to understand, but the particular activity is doing is pious activity or sinful activity. We will not come to know it all, because it depends on the intention of the person. So I am also going to share one more story. With that, we'll stop now. One more story is coming. Prabhu has written the book, Timeless Tale to Ignite Your Mind. There, one story is there that very, very amazing story, is very illustrative to understand how intention is very important for us. There was one king of Ujjain. Actually, this particular story was narrated by this Vedal to Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya, he was actually the Vedal used to sit at the Vikramaditya's shoulder. They used to go. Whenever the Vikramaditya tells a correct answer to this particular puzzle, what he was telling, that Bedal will leave him and go to back to the tree. It was happening. One day, Bedal, while going there, actually it was he was telling the story of that Ujjain. The king was there. His name was Jwalasen. He was a big gambler. He used to always the gamble, so that was usual. This was a hobby actually. One day, what happened? Because of gambling, he lost everything. He became a pauper. When he became a pauper, he was traveling in the forest. He came across a sage. And when sage opened his eye, he was in meditation. When he opened the eyes, he was asking, "Who are you? What for you came here?" The king Ch.7.1 was telling him, "I'm a king. I lost everything, and I have to live without food. I don't have any comfort. I can't live in the forest." Like that, he was crying. And this particular sage said, "Don't worry. I'll make your life happy. You stay here. I will give all the comfort like that." Because the particular sage, because of his mystic power, he created one girl. That night, midnight, he has created one girl. The girl came there in front of this the king, and he asked him, "What do you want?" He said, "I want a place to stay. I want good food to eat. All these things he provided." She was happy. She was felt as if he had become again a king. He was there having impression. And after that, next day morning, when he woke up, again the sage was there. He was sitting in front of the tree. Nothing happened. So he asked the sage, "How you create so much facility yesterday night? I was living very comfortably there. Suddenly everything disappeared." That sage said, I will teach the mantra how you to get this same power. You can live happily like that." The sage told him, you have to chant this mantra. I will teach a mantra. You have to chant this mantra on 24 hours for 30 days. You should do this particular thing. 1 year to 1 day you have to chant this mantra in a yoga posture in a secluded place. And finally, 30 days you have to do. 30 days you have to sit in the water. You just go in the water, river water, and chant this mantra for 30 days. On 30 days, you have to chant the mantra sitting in the fire. If you do it in 90 days, that mantra will have effect. You will be able to enjoy very nicely. So he has completed the process, did all this austerity, everything he did. And after that, he thought of the mantra, and he was asking why I can't get this particular facility, what I got the previous. After 90 days completion, he chanted this mantra. Of chanting this mantra, nothing came. No girl came, no mention, did not get food to eat, all these things happened. So now, very important is, the two important things is what he asked the stage. And that Vedalo asking Vikramaditya, why that girl did not, king did not get the girl as well as the comfort which the sage created. See, what happened? He was doing the mechanically. This particular thing, process he was doing mechanically. And another thing, one is without concentrate to the mind. What the sage was doing, concentrate to the mind, for welfare for others. This person did everything for him. When you do everything for him with intention, for your own benefit, you don't get many things actually. The sage got that particular meditation, it chanted the mantra for pleasing the king. But here the particular king wanted to derive the entire pleasure for him. Similarly, when we do practice this bhakti also, when you do with the intention of pleasing Krishna, pleasing the spiritual master, pleasing the devotees, you do something for welfare of others. And welfare of others for our own welfare actually. But if you are selfish, concentrate, want to do something for your own benefit, even the spiritual practice sometimes will not help you actually. That's why we have to go beyond from our own selfishness to selflessness. When you go in this particular intention to pleasing the Guru, pleasing the Krishna, pleasing this the process of devotional service, and whatever 9 process of bhakti is given, but this is only to please Krishna. When we have that particular intention, we'll have higher goal to achieve peace in this life and also achieve something beyond beyond death after this life. Go to Krishna, live with him happily. That's only the message of these two stories. Intention is very, see, whatever we sow, the same thing will reap. If you have a good intention to help others, you will get more opulence. That's why you will see the Prabhupada, actually, yes, he lived one example. When Prabhupada was doing business for him, but it was, many people asked Prabhupada also, how we are successful. Prabhupada successfully, he was doing everything for others. He did not do anything for him. He would not actually, when Prabhupada should have, he's a founder of ISKCON, he could have made anything for him, for his own. But he did not. When even his family members came and asked him also, why this entire property ISKCON belongs to my father. Prabhupada said, you show the passbook to them. I don't know the personal name, Prabhupada didn't have any money. He was creating everything for welfare of others. He was doing, his intention was to serve the whole society. Whole society, not only humanity. He was serving even animals. He was carrying compassion on even insects also. That's why we learn from Prabhupada's life. If you try to follow even one minute aspect of Prabhupada's in a life, even for chanting, in the early morning chanting, very powerful. With Prabhupada lived his own example. The chanting is only, the Strunu means Shravanam. Even the particular purport also, Prabhupada talked about Shravanam only. Very important that nourishment or medicine for our spiritually, only Shravanam. When we do the morning chanting, especially along with association of devotee, our faith becomes very firm. Otherwise, sometimes all doubts are coming because we don't have proper faith. Proper faith only in come association of devotees, because association of devotees, we get that blessing of the devotees also. It's not by just remaining in front of devotees, not a vibration, it comes to you. The vibration will affect you actually. I'm extremely thankful. This is really, I should thank our Paramadayal Guru, some opportunity forcing us to speak something, and we also learning in the process many things. Otherwise, this Bhagavad Gita would have just sat in the class, we would heard multiple times. But when we speak something, we also get some new points. I spoke about today about this one, and three type of Vishnu. One is about Mahavishnu, Vishnu, then Shirodash Vishnu, and this one I was actually always confused actually what three type of Vishnu I was not knowing. Today I came to know these are energies of Lord. See, one is about Vishnu, Garbhodakshina Vishnu, and Shirodakshina Vishnu. One is that Vishnu is completely a metal energy, and Garbhodakshina is a universe, and Shirodakshina is pervading as a Paramatma. This small philosophy carry with us, it will help us in case of actually this is a big knowledge actually. If you see this kind of knowledge to get is not easy for that. Prabhupada has given each and every purport of Prabhupada. There some philosophy is there. He is lifting our consciousness to a higher level. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat for all of you for sparing your valuable time. And